I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on Blockchain Interviews we have Will Szamosszegi, the CEO of Sazmining. Will, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm excited to dive into Bitcoin mining. It's not often I get too deep into Bitcoin mining because it can become a whole nother world of its own on top of trying to learn about all the cryptocurrencies and all the Turing complete networks. And once you start including hardware and mining and electricity costs and all that jazz, it becomes a whole nother world of knowledge to learn. But there are many in the world who are doing it and making a great profit, and there's still lots of people interested in Bitcoin mining for that reason as well. So I'm excited to dive into your knowledge into the industry and what Sazmining is doing. Let's kick off the conversation by just a little bit about how you first got interested into Bitcoin mining and sort of what setting up Sazmining looked like.
Yeah, well, when I first started learning about blockchain and cryptocurrency, I was just instantly drawn to it. I knew that if I didn't start working in it, I'd look back at the end of my life and I would regret it. And I saw mining as the best way to get into that. And so I started Sazmining in January of 2018. Since then, I've built an incredible network within the space with a lot of the different miners. We had done some consulting, had our own small mining facility. And then I realized that you're looking at this massive need in the marketplace. And that massive need is that, let's say you wanted to start mining Bitcoin today, how would you do it? Well, there's no easy answer to that question. And through consulting, we had people hitting us up wanting to begin mining Bitcoin, but you can't start mining with, $50,000 against a lot of these big miners. And we realized we had the network and the capability and the space to be able to build a platform that allows you to begin mining Bitcoin. And instead of you needing to spend 6 months to a year building a facility, building all the relationships, and then spending millions and millions of dollars, we decided to make it easy, where you could sign up in 1 minute and you don't need millions of dollars. You could just buy a single mining rig. And we've got our flagship facility for the platform coming up later this year in December out in Wisconsin, 100% hydropower. And yeah, we couldn't be more excited. We think that right now it's a great time to get into mining. The prices on these mining rigs have come down significantly. So we couldn't be more happy with the timing. We got lucky with that, but we think our customers are going to do extremely well as their miners go up and running in that facility.
Wow, great to hear, Will. And yeah, when I've looked into Bitcoin mining in the past, I've seen the options of buying your own rigs and putting it in your garage, or trying to find some way to compete against these giant warehouses of Bitcoin miners. And it seems like the upfront cost that you have to pay to start up your own rig and the knowledge in that as well is a little bit overwhelming for most people. And I've had a lot of people that are just getting into cryptocurrency approach me saying, I want to start Bitcoin mining. And because I'm unfamiliar with the intricacies of mining, I've had a hard time recommending it on what's the right way to approach it. I often recommend just getting Bitcoin and holding it, because then you're not paying for those upfront costs of the graphics cards and the electricity costs, and trying to calculate to make sure that you're not in a loss. So I'm guessing Sazmining makes it a lot easier to start than just building a rig in your garage.
Yeah, and this is one of the big things. First off, I will never ever tell someone that they shouldn't buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is a great thing to buy if you're going to buy anything. Bitcoin mining is a different type of investment. With Bitcoin, you're owning the digital asset. That's great. With Bitcoin mining, you're owning a hard asset, which is the Bitcoin miner, and that hard asset is generating new Bitcoin over time. So it's a different type of return profile than just owning a digital asset, buying and holding, which is a great strategy. This allows you to own a hard asset and then generate new Bitcoin. It's an analogy that I give to a lot of people who aren't deep into crypto. Like, let's say I'm talking to a real estate investor. You can draw the analogy to real estate in many ways, because real estate, hard asset, you can generate rent or passive income with it. A Bitcoin miner is like a money printer, except you're printing Bitcoin instead of dirty fiat. But all joking aside, I think that there was a big problem before we went and launched this platform. And that big problem was that it's very difficult, right? And you need economies of scale to do well. And so the way that we do it for our customers is, let's say you go onto sazmining.com and you buy a mining rig. Your mining rig is being priced in at a bulk order with everyone else on the platform who decided to go and buy a mining rig. Mm-hmm. So we pass along the mining rig to you at cost. We don't upcharge it. And then same thing with the hosting and the service and maintenance. We're not upcharging any of that either. So you're getting everything at cost. We aligned incentives. No one has done this in the market, but our big focus is being your partner. So the way that we make money, it's very simple. We just take a percentage of all the Bitcoin mined, and we don't ever touch your Bitcoin. You can put in your wallet address, your own Bitcoin wallet, and the mining pool sends your Bitcoin directly there and sends our cut directly to our wallet. And we're keeping 15% of the Bitcoin mined. And so we think that by aligning incentives, we have the incentive to keep your mining rig up and running versus just upcharging your mining rig or your electricity. And we think that that's the better model that the market needs at this moment.
That's interesting. So I've seen many sort of cloud mining, as they call them, services where you can put in a small amount and you're sort of tapping into a large company's Bitcoin miners. But from what I understand, with Sazmining, you're actually using the economies of scale that Sazmining has to be able to purchase your rigs and host them at the Sazmining facility. But can you explain more on the differences between?
Yeah, this is an important
cloud mining.
Yeah, I'm very glad you asked this question because there's an important distinction here. We do not do cloud mining. Cloud mining is, as you mentioned, a company has a facility and they're selling hash rate, but the customer doesn't own the mining rig. And what we're doing is we're giving you as a customer the ability to purchase your own mining rig. You own it, and the asset that you own that's generating passive income is being run at a facility. So it's a new type of model. It's a much more sovereignty-driven model. It gives you ownership of the hard asset and access to those cash flows. And we're not selling hash rate. We're selling an actual mining machine and passing along all the services and the hardware costs at the cost that we can get, like the best deal that we can get on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great to know. And I feel like one of the best advantages of that model is, being able to own your own rig, but sort of harnessing the electricity costs that Sazmining is able to get, which normally, if you have a large facility, you're able to get a deal on, the cost of the electricity versus using your home electricity at home. And the cops wondering if you're running a grow up at your house or why your electricity bill is so high when you're mining Bitcoin at your house.
Yeah, it's really crazy how much electricity prices can vary based on scale and also where you are. So let's say, for example, and you would not want to do this, let's say you had a mining rig and you wanted to just run it on residential power rates in California, you're paying over 50 cents per kilowatt hour. If you're a customer at Sazmining, you're getting 7-cent power passed along to you at cost without necessarily being upcharged like crazy. So it gives you the ability to get cheap power and have someone else run it rather than you having to run it yourself and still end up paying a lot more in energy costs running your own machines.
Yeah, that's a significant difference. Probably the difference between mining at a loss and mining at a gain. So, with that kind of economies of scale, obviously there's a big difference there. Now, with purchasing the miners or I know that they're always coming out with new ASICs and new graphics cards to put into the Bitcoin miners, and often they're more powerful and stronger, and you need to keep up with the latest technology to sort of stay on top of the competitors who are also getting the newest rigs. And I don't know the exact depreciation rate, but I hear anywhere from a year to 2 years, the miners sort of slow down and the new miners start taking over. What's the case with having the new miners, and if somebody purchases a miner in Sazmining, how long does that last before the hash rate starts going down a little bit because it's getting old?
Yeah, now this is also a very important consideration when you're buying mining rigs, and that your mining rig over time is going to become less competitive because there are going to be new mining rigs that come out. So what you need to do is you need to get a good entry price on your mining rig. You got to run it at a low cost power rate, and you got to take good care of the equipment. And that's how you make money as a Bitcoin miner. If you're going out there and you're buying cheap, expensive electricity, and you're overpaying for your hardware and you're not taking care of it, then you're not going to make money as a miner. And it's a much better idea for you to just go buy Bitcoin if you're not going to mine properly. So all these are factors, all of these are variables. And at the end of the day, you want to be able to make smart decisions to be able to participate. And if you're an everyday person out there, and this was the big problem, you're not going to have enough time or energy to spend all day learning about mining, finding out the right ways to run it, and make it a full-time job to begin mining. You might want the return profile that a miner can get, but you don't want to have to run a massive company to do it. And so that's basically where we try and fit in the market. We try and make it accessible. In a couple of clicks, you can sign up, join our wait list, and then hop in the facility when you want to, when the mining rig is ready, when you're off the wait list. You can put in the deposit to hold your spot in line, and then once your mining rig's ready, we call the rest of the capital. So you don't have capital tied up for 12 months, which you've seen in a lot of other areas within the mining industry. We tried to lower that gap to provide a better experience for our customers.
That's great to know. And of course, there's a lot of variables with, how competitive Bitcoin mining is, and day to day, and what the hash rate is changing. Is there any way for people to calculate if they're to buy one rig? How long does it take in mining Bitcoin to break even and then start earning a profit?
Yeah, actually on the website, we have a calculator built in. So if you go onto sazmining.com, you scroll down, you can see the calculator. Let's say you choose 3 rigs, for example. You can see the exact amount you're paying, the monthly maintenance cost, and then the amount of Bitcoin being generated on average. That's using real-time historical data from real-time APIs from historical data, and then utilizing that to forecast. Every miner, you can run your own model, but we try and make it simple and easy for people to truly understand each variable within the mining process. And that's why we built the calculator directly onto our platform.
Oh, that's great to know. And you mentioned there about having a wait list and ensuring that the people don't have to pay all of it up front. But from what I understand with this wait list, that means that you and your team are not yet fully running, or maybe there's a backlog of people that are trying to get into the system. Where are you guys at with that, and ensuring that anybody who wants to start mining can do so?
Yeah, that's a great piece. And that's one of the unique parts of our business model is we actually go and we have to put up capital to acquire and access mining rigs so they can be turned on quickly after customers purchase them. So rather than taking all the money up front, we're floating some of that capital to help deliver our product for our customers. And so when you go onto the website and you go and you purchase, you're just putting down the deposit, and then we do the capital call for the rest of the capital for that mining rig once we know that your mining rig is going to be ready shortly after.
Amazing. And is there an approximate sort of minimum investment that's needed to, I'm guessing if you're buying more rigs, it's going to be faster that you're going to earn your money back. But what if you just want to dip your toe into Bitcoin mining? Sort of what's the minimum cost that it's going to cost to get started at the bare minimum?
Yeah, the bare minimum is just a single mining rig. And of course, there's volatility in that exact price, just depending on the price of Bitcoin. But you're looking at roughly a $3,500 investment for a single mining rig at the date of this recording. So once your mining rig's ready, then we go and do the capital call. But if you want to buy more than a single miner, you can, of course, upsize that. And because of our waitlist approach right now and going into this first facility, we're capping the amount of mining rigs that you can buy at 10 mining rigs per person. So if you want to buy rigs, the max you can buy in this first facility is 10 rigs.
Okay, great to know. And maybe you have insights onto Bitcoin mining and how that will change as hopefully Bitcoin goes into sort of the next bull run and goes back to all-time high prices. Normally when the price goes down, it gets less competitive to mine Bitcoin, and when it goes up, there's more incentive because each Bitcoin is worth a lot more. So have you looked at previous Bitcoin mining cycles, or what kind of growth do you anticipate in the competitiveness and the profitability of mining in the next 3-5 years?
Yeah, I think that predicting exactly there's always variability. I have my own outlook, and it is based on the historical data. Typically, what you see is the hash rate following the price of Bitcoin. And it's because of exactly what you mentioned. If the Bitcoin price is higher, there's more incentive out there and larger margins for more miners to be able to access and begin mining Bitcoin profitably. So with all that said, what my current belief is what's going to happen is I think that you're going to see some consolidation here, and that we've already started to see it with the dropping price of the miners. You've had a lot of miners who took on a lot of debt and ended up getting burned. So now they need to liquidate that hardware, which makes it a perfect time for you to actually go and buy that hardware, because the price has just gone down like eightfold from where it might have been if you were buying at the absolute peak of these miners. And so with that said, I think that the miners who you see that get in during the bear cycles are the ones that perform the best, because they acquire that hardware cheaply. And then when Bitcoin's price shoots up, not only is their Bitcoin that they've mined more valuable, but their hardware that's already been running shoots up in value. Mm-hmm. And so because of all those different factors, I think that you're seeing a great time to enter mining. And you've seen these areas in the past. For example, in March of 2020, after that initial crunch and Bitcoin's price dropping significantly, that was an incredible time to get into mining. Mm-hmm. Similarly, in the previous bull cycles, you always want to get in right before the price shoots up, which sounds very obvious, but it's the time where everyone's scared. And you see a lot of capital that's more scared on the sidelines right now, although everything is cheaper in price.
Mm-hmm. Great insights, Will. And I don't know if this is an obvious question as well, but with the Bitcoin that you mine, let's say Sazmining, the Bitcoin that your team acquires, do you try to hold on to as much Bitcoin as you can and just sell off what's needed to pay the operational costs and hope for that appreciation and try to sell, later on at the late stages of the next bull run?
Yeah, in terms of treasury management, there are a lot of variables, right? So it's one, how much do you need to grow and accomplish the company's objectives? Like, how much risk are you willing to take on? Because at the end of the day, I think holding Bitcoin is a much better strategy than just holding cash. Bitcoin's going to become far more valuable than the cash, but simultaneously, you also have business objectives that you have to reach, and how much risk you're willing to take on holding Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And you've seen many different companies take different approaches. You've seen MicroStrategy take a really large approach to Bitcoin, and you've seen others who just want to put 0.5% or 1% in their treasury. For us, it's more variable, but we're also still trying to allocate capital to growth. And so we're not taking a MicroStrategy approach where we're holding the majority of all of our cash in Bitcoin, but we definitely do have exposure.
Great to know, Will. And we don't have a lot of time left, but I wanted to ask one last question about the electricity costs and renewable energies. We saw with Elon Musk talking about creating sort of a council of sustainability and the move from Ethereum's proof of work over to proof of stake because of the electricity costs. You did mention that the Sazmining facility was going to be working on hydro. What does the outlook look like for renewable mining and all of these other alternative energy sources in whether it's hydro or volcano powered in El Salvador, and if the amount of electricity required to run the Bitcoin network is going to be less as we start using these alternative sources towards the future? Yeah,
the energy costs for renewables are going way down. The cost curves are declining. I think solar is going to be extremely competitive. We at Sazmining are focused solely on renewable energies or carbon negative energies. And I think that in the long run, you're going to see the Bitcoin network actually become carbon negative. And proof of work, I think, is the big innovation for the energy sector. You can capture waste and generate value from it. You can capture methane, one of the biggest problems in terms of global warming, 84 times the warming effect than CO2 over a 20-year period. There's no solution to that today until Bitcoin mining. So I think that having proof of work not only provides value and makes Bitcoin valuable for the obvious reasons from an economics perspective, it makes it valuable because of how it can combat some of these large problems of the energy sector that currently are not really addressed today. And then, yeah, at Sazmining, we're focused on renewable energy. If you go and you buy a rig from Sazmining, yes, you're going to make money, and yes, it's a way for you to get an allocation to Bitcoin in a different type of way. But the big key is that you're helping support renewable energy and helping accelerate society to renewable energy. So, yeah, we're really excited about that. And I feel like a lot of these views aren't talked about enough regarding proof of work and the energy sector. And you have a lot of people who are covering it who aren't necessarily in it day to day, because those people are busy running the energy companies and the mining, Bitcoin mining companies. But yeah, I'm happy that on the show we're getting to bring that to light and show miners are helping support grid stability, reduce and combat climate change, and create a better monetary network for everyone.
Wow, that's incredible to hear, Will. And yeah, you often hear the opposite, like it's using a lot of electricity, but I have seen, I just saw a video where they were using like used cooking oil to power their Bitcoin mining rigs, and stuff that was going to go in the waste or in the sewage, all of a sudden they're able to convert that to energy, to convert that into value through mining Bitcoin and keeping the network alive. So super fascinating. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Sazmining grows. For the viewers that want to learn more about Bitcoin mining, check out the calculator, look at the costs and the potential profits, and look at the wait list for Sazmining to get involved. What is the best way for them to learn more?
Yeah, well, the way that they can go and become a customer is just go on to sazmining.com, join the wait list, $100 per mining rig. If you want to follow what we're up, I should mention, we also have a mining rig giveaway. So if you follow all of our social media channels, that gives you entries into the raffle to win your own free Bitcoin mining rig. We're on Twitter, LinkedIn, and obviously the website. So go check it out. And yeah, we hope to be a good partner for you on your mining journey.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Will, for all the insights. I will leave the sazmining.com link and the socials in the description box below as well. All the best with the launch of the new facilities and continued growth in Bitcoin mining. And let's follow up in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks again for having me.